All right, can you both see on your screen right now this file that starts right here with create table categories? Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. There are, I think at least, some mistakes in this file. So what I'd like you to do, I sent you this the other day. If you can't find it or whatever, just let me know. I'll resend it. But I'd like you to open it. It's a series of files, but the one I'd like you to open right now is the one that's called 00 schema or -so schema.sql. This is literally, and I think you already know this, but I'm going to say it again anyway. This is the way the database will look. In other words, these are the names of every field. These are the data types of every field. All right. What you'll notice if you take a look in here, for example, look at the customers table. Hopefully you notice this. When you look, every field in here is set up as a null, which means it's totally possible to create a brand new customer record that has no data in it because the customer ID will automatically be created for us. And the same thing happens with products. The same thing happens with orders. The same thing happens with order details, etc. So for that reason, you could make a case and say, you know what, this is not a well thought out database. All right. And I'm not going to say anything to you other than, to be honest with you, I'm not the one who thought it up. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is not so much because of categories. It's pretty simple. We've got 6 category descriptions, and they're automatically going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've got, I think it's 32 customers. They're going to start with 1001 and go up by 1. So they're going to literally be 1001, 1002, 1003, up to 1032. And they all will have IDs, first names, last names, etc. They'll all have this stuff. All right. Where it starts to break down, for lack of better words, is in here. Because the way that this was set up, most of these have got a short description. Most of these do not have a long description. I don't think any of these have an image. So technically, we could have left those 2 fields out. The problem is, if we leave those 2 fields out, we've got to go back into the corresponding data file for products, which is right here. And you'll notice we'd have to remove null from both those. Now, that's not a big thing. I know it's not. But I'm just trying to get across to you the fact that when people set up databases, what you want to do is you want to set them up and you want to think to yourself, okay, how might these change over time? All right. In other words, are there fields that are in here that maybe now we don't have a value for, but later we might have a value for, such as, that's why I think the product image is in there. So later, if we wanted to, we could get pictures of every one of the products. What I actually did, just so you know, you may care, you may not care, but I used this same example, all right, for the ASP.NET class that I taught last semester. I went out online, went out to Google Images and found images for Aeroflow, ATB wheels, except all this other stuff, all this stuff that's in here. All right. But what I'm telling you is, as we're building this, okay, we're going to keep it the way it is. Now, there's a couple things that are in here, just so you know. And again, you probably have already seen this, but a couple of these names are pretty long. All right. But I think, at least I'm hoping, as far as you're concerned, we can live with that it's okay. All right. So right now, and I think you saw, I know you saw this yesterday, but right now, if I stop here and bring up the program, that right now it looks like this. It's not a typically good looking interface. It's not a typically bad looking interface. What we want to do in part one of the project is literally just set it up so that when we click on any of these, it either shows us all of the records, like all 6 categories. If we want, we can have all 40 products, all 32 customers. But then I think I told you this yesterday, about maybe 25 orders and 25 order details, something like that. But what I'm more concerned with today is if we wanted to do this, that we could, for example, put ourselves in as a customer and immediately see that we were in there. All right. Add a new category and immediately see it was in there. But we're going to get to that in part 2 of the project. For right now, we're going to be, for lack of better words, we're going to be more concerned. All right. We're going to be more concerned with just getting this up and running, working, etc. Now, I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to start it again, but I wanted to show you something. Okay, there it is. Let's see. So Microsoft has got some good documentation out there. This thing that you see right here, and I don't remember if I sent this to you or not, but if you're interested, just copy down the name. And later on, I'll put the link out there, this hyperlink out there for it. But the reason I'm showing you this is what we're about to do is based loosely, but it's pretty much based on this write-up. Create a database and add tables in Visual Studio. What they have you do is create a new app. We've already done that. Then we're going to go in and go down and do this thing that they talk about with the service-oriented database. Don't worry about it. We'll do it in a bit. Then we'll add a data source. We'll look at our properties. We'll create our tables. We'll add the information. Then we'll go in and we will add our data to this. So we'll add both we'll add the schema, we'll add the foreign keys, then we'll populate this. All right. So like I said, even though it's not 100% based on this, this is a really good article for you to look at. And as I mentioned, what I'll make sure I do between the end of our first lecture today and the beginning of the second one is I'll grab this URL and I will put it in there. So when you get sent the next one, I'll just say the URL for this document is based on here. All right. So I'm taking for granted that either you have this up or you can bring this up. If you don't have it up, please bring up this particular program that we started on yesterday right now. All right, so again, we started a new C# Windows Forms app. All right, and we're not worrying about Git or anything else in here. We're not even that worried about the name or anything else as far as what's in here. We put in these 6 buttons, all right, and our form looks the way it looks, and we lock the controls. All right, so what I want us to do next, move this down a bit and move this over. All right, can you see over here, I've got the mouse going over there. Can you see the Solution Explorer over here?
No, you need to switch to screen share.
All right. Now can you see it over here?
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to be there, for lack of better words, okay? I want you to go over there. And what I want us to do is to right mouse click. We've done this many times before. right mouse click on the name of our project. All right. Not the name of the, we want our project, not the whole application, but just this project, the thing that says final project. So right mouse click on that and go down to add new item. All right, right mouse click and go to add new item, which should bring up, I don't know if you're able to see this on your screen when the add new comes up. Can you see this on my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Now, when we start looking through here, there's actually two ways that we can do this. If you go down about 2/3 of the way, you're going to see a thing here that says service-oriented database. All right, I'd like you to go down and find that particular option right now, if you would, please. All right, and don't double click, but just single click on it. We could also go in through data and find the same thing. This is the recommended way of doing it. Now, if we do this correctly, and I'm doing it with you, all right, this worked last year, but I have not tried this yet with Visual Studio 2019, and I don't think there's any changes. We're going to give this not database 1 as a name, but we'll give it a different name in just a minute. Then we'll click add. If everything works correctly, what you're going to see in here then is you'll see a database added. If for some reason you look in here and you don't see a database added, all right, then we're going to have to go over here, way up on top, and there's, I think it's this button, we'll find out. It's a refresh button. And if you click it, it should show you a database. In fact, it'll probably show you two different files. One that ends with .mdf, Microsoft Database, one that ends with LDF, which is a log database file. All right, so what I'd like you to do is to go down here, keep the .mdf, but we're going to try to call this sales orders DB, one word, big S for sales, big O for orders, and then a big D and a big B. So we want sales orders DB, run it together. No underscores, no hyphens, no nothing. Does that make sense to both of you?
Yes.
All right. Once you get that, then click the add button. And I got install missing packages. It has been detected that packages for SQL Server support are missing. Now, hopefully you didn't get that. Operations requiring SQL Server support will fail if you continue without installing these packages. Please press OK to install these packages. Did you get that message?
No.
Did you get
Yeah.
the message, Keegan?
No, I didn't get it either, but nothing popped up on the.
That's okay. That's all right. But I'm going to click OK right now, and I'm hoping that it's installing what I need, all right, or that it's installed what I need. But if you look on my screen, I now have sales orders db.mdf. If you don't have that, take your mouse, put it up on the top here, and about halfway across, there's a thing that's a refresh button. Click that and see if it brings it up on your screen, up in here on your screen. Let me know whether it does or not.
Mine's on the screen already.
All right. Do you see anything up there, Keegan?
Not yet. I don't know what my machine is doing. It's being slow.
All right. Well, again, in all seriousness, we're not in any hurry. All right. Either today or tomorrow morning early, we should be done with part 1 of this project. And then I'm going to explain to you what part 2 is going to be about. All right. And we will start on that.
Okay, mine's up there now.
then what I want you to at least try to do, and I'm hoping this is going to work, if you don't have your toolbar open over here, see where I am, way to the left? If you don't have that open, click view and go down. It's the toolbox, but go down about a little more than halfway and choose toolbox. All right, because I want that to be showing. You probably will want to pin that up on here too so that it stays there. Again, this is something we talked about a long, long time ago. Am I right in assuming you were both able to do that with no problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then I want you to go over to your database, not the LDF file, not the log file, but right click on the database and choose open. Right mouse click on the database and choose open. And the window over here should change. All right. Now mine is not yet because again, I'm getting another error that now it did. I want to know if yours changed to what's called Server Explorer.
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes, mine did.
Okay. Did yours change, Keegan?
I'm still waiting for it to load.
All right. No, that's like I said, that's okay.
Were we looking for the toolbar
We're
to
looking
change?
over here for this window to say Server Explorer. And then hopefully what's open over here on yours says salesorders.db.mdf.
Yeah, mine says all that stuff.
All right. What that means is there is now a communication between your program and the database. Now, right now, the database is empty. So we're going to start to fill it up. You with me? So it's empty right now, but we're going to start to fill it up. How are we going to do that? To begin with, there's nothing in tables, but we're going to put in our first table. So right mouse click on the folder that says tables and choose add new table right on the top. And when you do that, if your screen comes up looking like this, that's a good thing. This may take a minute to fill up, but don't worry about it. All right. Is yours looking like your screen looking like mine? Again, if yours is taking a few minutes to get ready, that's not a problem.
Mine looks like that.
All right. You're still coming up, Keegan, or does it look like that?
No, it's still loading.
All right. We're going to take our time and we're going to create all 5 tables in here, one at a time. And then when we get done, we'll grab those files that I gave you and we'll just bring the data in. I'm going to show you how to do all of that. Once we have done that, we're going to make some changes to the code that we wrote yesterday and commented out. And then hopefully by the end of the period at the latest, we'll have part 1 here working. All right. What I'm going to ask that you do, what I'm going to ask that you do is you use the names I'm going to use. What's going to be different on yours, if you remember from yesterday, what's going to be different is your database name will be the same, but your path will be different because it's pathing to your machine. That should make sense to you. Now, that said, who cares? All right. We care because what I'm going to ask is if you use the same names and the same everything that I use, when you get done with part 1, I'm going to ask that you zip the folder that it's in and email it to me. All right. So I can give you credit for part 1. Now, what I'm going to have to do then is I'm going to have to go in and manually change your path to my path. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense or not, but that's the only way I'll be able to run your program to see whether or not it gives me the right data. All right. So what do we want to do here? Well, we're going to, like I said, we're going to create each of the 5 tables. All right. Now, when you do this, just so you know, when you do this, you've got your choice. I don't know why they did it this way, but this is the way Microsoft did it. The first thing that's always recommended that you do is if you don't change this name, the name of it is going to be table, which you wouldn't want. That would be silly. All right. So we're going to come in here and we're going to type in categories. Put that in. Don't hit enter. Don't do anything else. But go in and change the word table to the word categories. Now, let's pretend for just a second this is not the case, but let's just pretend that was it. That's all we want to do. Don't click it, but do you have a button? It may be green, it may be blackish, that's up near the upper left-hand corner. I've got my mouse going on it that says update. Do you have that button, both of you, on your screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Keegan?
Yeah.
Okay. When we get done creating this table, not until then, but when we get done, you'll click that button. All right. That's how we'll update the database. So this is a good one to start with because it only has 2 fields in it. It's got a category ID and it's got a category description. All right. So this first one, we're going to change the name of this from ID to category ID. And I'd like you to do that, please. Well, again, we're not done, but just do that one. So we've got category ID. We're going to put in one more field. So come to the end here, put in a comma. And again, inside of these brackets, we're going to add yet a second field. And that second field that we add is going to be called category description. All right. And don't worry that if there's errors like that, they'll all be fixed in just a minute. All right. I'm going to move this over so I can start moving this over. Now, our category description field will be an nvarchar. We'll talk about what all this stuff means in just a minute. 75. And it is okay if it holds nulls. We're not done yet, but we're almost done with our first table. All right, we're not done yet, but we're almost done with the first table. Now, sometime over the years, Microsoft changed and they wanted you to go, this used to be just called varchar, which was a variable length field, but they said they wanted you to start using nvarchar. I never really got that, but somebody came up with that. That was somebody's idea, and it's the kind of thing we are all, for lack of better words, we're all supposed to listen to. Okay? I know that might sound kind of stupid, but again, I don't make the rules. All right? Now, what we can do up here too, if you look up on the top, we could have done this up on the top. So it automatically created a field for us. Remember, this field was originally called ID with a big I and a little d. That's what this originally said. But when we changed the name to category ID, it automatically changed here. It automatically put that key in there, meaning it's a primary key field. It automatically realized it was an int. It automatically realized it could not have nulls. All right. So that's all the stuff that you see in here. Then when we put in the category description, it put it in up here. It made it an nvarchar. Since we didn't put the word not here, it's allowing nulls. What I'm asking you, because I'm not trying to confuse you, but what I'm asking you is, does all that stuff make sense? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, Keegan?
Yeah.
All right. Then take your mouse and where it says Can you see up in the near the upper right hand corner where I'm taking the mouse and making it go nuts here? You see this? All right, I want you to go in there and I want you to click on where it says primary key, and then your properties window down here should change.
That whole upper section is still, it says the design surface is loading.
Okay, then we'll do it the other way, which is, it's totally fine. Because you can, I was going to try to show you more the automatic way of doing it, but we'll do it the old fashioned way. All right, which means that after not null here, type in the word right there, identity. Just like that. Now, am I right in assuming then that both of your screens look like my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So again, I already explained it, but category ID is our primary key. It's an integer. It can't be left blank, and it's an identity field, which means we don't have to put it in. It will start with 1. So the first category that we add later will be category 1, the second one category 2, etc. It'll add them for us immediately. And it's going to start counting at 1 because we didn't tell it to start counting from another number here. We also have our description, which is a text field, 0 to 75 characters. Could be 0 because we allow nulls, can't be greater than 75. Does that make sense to both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now then, take your mouse, put it on where it says update up here, and click the arrow by where it says update. And it should come up, hopefully. You'll see the box. I don't know if my box shows on here to you or not, but you should get one with a box that says highlights none, user actions, create table, supporting actions none, etc. And there's a check mark that says include transactional scripts. I just leave it because I've never done anything with it. Did you both get that box?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The middle button down here should say update database. Click that button, please. All right. Now, it probably looks just the same, like, hey, well, nothing happened, Jeff. So come back up to here where you've got this open, where it says DBO, and DBO just stands for database object. All right. But where it says, way up here, it says DBO categories design. Click the X up there and it should close. Any problems with that?
No.
No.
All right. Way up here on the top, there's another one of these refresh buttons. See the refresh button that's way in the left here? You both see it.
Yes.
Keegan?
Yeah.
Click the refresh button, and now you should see that you've got a categories table here. Do you see it on yours?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. We could go in and put the data in right now, but what we're going to do instead is we're just going to go and create the next table. So we're going to go through the same steps. We're going to write, we only have to do this once. We're going to right mouse click on tables again. We're going to choose add new table, just like we just did. All right. Again, I like to add it down here. If you'd rather, you can add it up here. But we're going to change the name of this to customers. This will be our customer table. Now, I can already tell I'm getting close time-wise. It has not given me the 10-minute warning yet. All right. But it will be soon. All right. So what I'm going to do, oh, there it just came up right now on mine. So I've got 10 minutes. All right. So we may or may not get this whole thing done in here. You know what? If we don't, rather, who cares? It's totally fine. All right. We are not in any hurry, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. And I think, unless I've made mistakes, let's see. That's everything. So that's the whole table. Now, you can type it in, totally fine, but hopefully you can tell what I just did was I went back to that schema file that I showed you, and I grabbed everything that's in between those parentheses, and now I'm just pasting it in. So you can do it either way, but what I'd like to have you do is to come in here, please, and fix, so to speak, fix your table so it looks like this. And I'll give you a couple minutes. If you do it the other way, like I said, where you just go in and copy it in, fine. Just do that.
Can you email me that file again? Because I couldn't seem to find it.
The only thing is, on here, if you look, just to be sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to change this from 8 to 12. Just in case somebody puts an area code in there. So I want to be able to have, in fact, let me see if I'm going to go look at the data for a second. So that's categories, that's customers. It looks like every customer is just 7 digits, but you're never sure. So we could have 3 digits, a hyphen, 3 digits, a hyphen, 4 digits. So 3 hyphen 3 hyphen 4 is 12. So I'm making the size of this field 12. All right. And again, after you get done with that, all right, and I'm not going to do it right now because Keegan doesn't have the file yet, but Angie, you can do this if you want. When you get done, make sure you've named that customers. Make sure every field looks the way mine does. And then you can click update. Just like we did before, then click the update database button. Then you're able to close this. Then you should be able to go back to here, click refresh. Boom. Now you'll have 2 tables up. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to stop right here. It is only 8:36, so I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to, Angie, am I right in assuming you have that file?
I do.
Okay, but I will send it out to you, Keegan, no problem. I'm going to send it out to you right now, all right? And I'll send out that URL, like I said, that, that this was taken from. And I even have another URL that you might want to take a look at. So we'll reconvene. I've got 8:37, but after I go and save everything and do whatever, let's just make it about 8:45. So it'll be about 10 minutes from now. All right, so if you drop off, I'll see you back again in about 10 minutes. Thanks.